talking about the new Orbit b-hyve hose faucet timer and Wi-Fi hub. So we're going to show you how to set those up, connect them to your Wi-Fi, connect the hose faucet timer to the hub, and get it programmed. So we've already plugged in our Wi-Fi hub, and we have our brand new hose faucet timer. And what you get in the box is the timer, little quick start guide, a few instructions, some information on what the buttons do. You have to install your own AA batteries. So we'll go ahead and get those batteries installed and power up. All right, take our two AA batteries and we pull this battery tray out. Slide the batteries in. And we'll put the batteries back into the hose faucet timer, and it will power up, and you'll see LED light blink and flash right here. Go ahead and we'll get started. We'll create a new account. If you already have an account, you can log into that account and use that one, but we're going to create a new one here. Once you input your account information, slide to the bottom of the screen, tap accept, accept again. Now you have an account, logs you in. It asks you if you'd like to be notified of important events, such as rain delays and watering events on your b-hyve device. This is good because it will tell you if your timer goes into rain delay. If you want, you can cancel that. If there's freeze delays, it will also tell you if your timer's been turned off. So if you didn't turn it off, someone else did, it will tell you that it's been turned off. So go ahead and say yes. So now we're on the very first pairing screen. From here, we just make sure that everything's powered up, ready to go. And because we're starting with a brand new device, we'll say yes, this is a new device. If this device had been previously installed, maybe you picked it up secondhand, you can say this device was previously installed, and that will transfer the device to your account if it wasn't completely removed from the system before. There's also a I have a code option. If someone has a timer that they'd like to share access to you with the app, they can go into their device settings, generate a code, and give you that code. And right here, you would just say, I have a code, and then that would add that device to your account. We're going to say this is a new device. And because this is a hose faucet and hub combo, we're going to select that option, but there's an option for a standalone hose faucet or just a standalone hub. So if you're just adding one of those to your system, but because we're doing both, we'll select the combo. What that will do is that once we're done pairing the hub, it will take us right into pairing the hose faucet timer. Without setting up the hose faucet timer, you can't do anything with just a hub, so you have to do both. So my device is powered on. It looks for nearby devices based on Bluetooth, and it found our hub, which is plugged in on the wall and powered up. So we say, yep, that matches my device. If it didn't match your device, if you have more than one powered on, you could say this does not match, and it would give you a list of all the devices that it can see in your proximity. So this is the next screen describes a little bit how the meshing works between these two devices. Each hub can have multiple hose faucet timers on them. If all of the hose faucet timers are close enough to see the hub, they'll connect directly to the hub. If they're not, they can connect through each other, so you can kind of create a chain of devices. There are some limitations on that, how far out and how many devices you can go, but for the most part, you'll be able to see your hub from one device. All right, so we're gonna now connect the hub to our Wi-Fi network, so say I understand. On this screen, the hub will return a list of Wi-Fi networks that it can see, and you'll select that network from the list. You'll need your Wi-Fi password to do that. If you don't see yours, if you have SSID broadcasting turned off, you can tap the advanced button, or if it's just not showing in the list, you can hit the recycle button, and it will it'll refresh that list, and hopefully it'll find it the next time. So there's mine, got the password, say done. Now the app has told the hub how to connect to your Wi-Fi network. Once the app sees that your hub is connected to the server, it'll take you to the next screen, which is enter your location. On this screen, we at least need your postal code in order to do smart watering, weather, rain delays, those types of things. Okay, now we'll give it a device name. So this is the end of the hub setup. Now we need to set up the hose faucet timer. So the app is now prompting us to set up another device. Go ahead and click or tap the green button for next. And you say, yes, my device is powered on. And the app has found my hose faucet timer. And you can find the MAC address on the bottom of the timer. You can check to make sure it found the right one. If you have multiple, yeah, found it. So I say, yes, this matches my device. Now, because we have a hub set up, each time you set up a hub, it creates its own group. So right now we only have one group, so there's only one option. That is the group we want to use. Now we have the hose faucet timer now connected to the hub, and the hub connected to our internet. So now we can configure or program the hose faucet timer. So we say use current location. When you connect the hose faucet timer for the first time, the app will do a check to see if the hose faucet timer has the most recent firmware on it. If it doesn't, the app will download the firmware to your phone and then update the hose faucet timer. We'll go ahead and say update now. It's going to check it found a newer version, so it's downloading the new firmware for the hose faucet timer. During the update, your hose faucet timer needs to stay connected to your phone. If it loses connection or if the update fails, it can be restarted. But until the update is complete, the hose faucet timer will not respond to any commands. It will be in what's called bootloader mode. One thing to note about the update: if the update fails and the timer stays in bootloader mode, during that time, the timer will be running at full speed, at full capacity. The processor is running as fast as it can to do the update. If the update fails and it stays in bootloader mode and you have to walk away for a while, you're going to want to pull the batteries out of the timer. It will run the batteries down really fast. But our update succeeded, took us to the next screen to name our device. So this is our demo hose tap. Once we've named the device, we're prompted to complete the setup. Here we can either say later, and then you can set up your zone and other information, or you can say continue. We'll say continue now. It asks you if you want to do smart watering or traditional watering. Smart watering requires that the hose faucet be connected to a Wi-Fi hub that's connected to the internet. Otherwise, you can only do Bluetooth. Traditional watering lets you set the program, start time, run durations, and everything that you want to control it how you want. Smart watering will do all that for you. We'll say traditional for now. So now we're going to do a flow calibration test. The hose faucet timer has a flow meter built into it. To perform this test, you have to connect this up to your hose faucet, turn the water on, and then start the test. So on the next screen, once you've connected the hose faucet timer to your water source, go ahead and say test. It will start a 20-second program. Once the program is complete, your hose faucet timer will have a flow rate. Now if you adjust the flow with the faucet, you'll need to re-perform the calibration, and we'll show you how to do that in the next few steps. So now that the flow calibration is complete, we'll name the zone. And we'll name our program. During this process, you'll set up your first program. You can actually have more, you can set up later. So we're going to give it a start time. Now that we have the start time, we'll tell it how long we want it to run for. Here you can set up hours, minutes, or even seconds. So we're going to set this, I don't know, 5 minutes, 0 seconds. And then we tell it which days of the week we want it to run on. You can tell it to run on every day, every other day, or you can say use even days, even calendar days, or odd calendar days, or what I use most often is intervals. So I can say every other day, every 2 days, and you can set a start date. So if maybe you don't want it to start right away, you can set a date in the future for it to begin the interval watering. Now we're in the app's home screen. So it also shows us on the app that we have connected still to the hose faucet timer via Bluetooth. So we can tap that icon and say disconnect Bluetooth. And the app might take a second to register, but it will eventually show that the app and the hose faucet timer and the hub are all still connected. So you can test that, one, by running a manual program. So from the home screen, tap the remote control, tap the zone you want to run, and hit play. And we're now seeing the program run. Had we set up a flow rate, you'll see your gallons per minute used and the actual flow during the watering on this screen. We can tap either the stop button here in the app, or you can stop the program from running on the timer. So on the hose faucet timer, this is a button. Doesn't look like it, but it's a button. And you can tap this while a program is running just one time, and that will cancel whatever is currently running. You hear it click, and the app updates, and now we don't have anything running, but we have a scheduled program. Now that we have the hose faucet timer connected to the Wi-Fi hub, and the Wi-Fi hub's connected to the internet, you still have manual control over this timer. As I demonstrated, you can stop a program by simply pressing the button once. You can also start a manual program by pressing and holding the button until the LED turns green. Once it turns green, it will start your preset manual program. You see in the app that we now have a program running. So I'm going to stop this from the app. You can see it started for 10 minutes. That's the default manual program from the timer, but we can change that. So we come into settings, go to devices, into the hose tab. See, we have a preset runtime of 10 minutes. I can change that down to 3, 2, or 1, or 2 hours. Save that, come back to the home screen, and I'll start that manual program again. And this time we see that it is going to run for 1 minute instead of 10 minutes. So you can change the duration of that manual program, which is handy. And again, to stop that, just press the button one time, and that'll stop that manual program. If you need to edit your program, you can come to the program screen, tap on the program that you previously set up, and then tap edit. From here you can change the start time to whatever you want it to be. Tap save there. You can change the run duration on the zone, save that. You can change the days of the week that it's going to run on. So we hit save now, and you can check the home screen, and our next runtime is updated. You can see the zone details by coming to the zone screen. Tap the zone. You can tap on the zone image and take a picture of the zone if you'd like. Here you can enable smart watering for the zone if you didn't do that during onboarding. And you can change the zone name. And this will show you your calibrated flow rate once it's been calibrated. If you need to recalibrate, you can do that from here. Just tap the recalibrate. It'll bring you back into the flow rate test, and here you can recalibrate the flow. On the screen you also see your last watering and your next watering, and it will show you any programs that the zone is a part of and how long it's going to run for in that program. We also show you soil moisture. Now this value from the initial setup You can adjust. So if you know that your soil is extra moist, it's been raining a lot or whatever, or it's really dry, you can just set that to a low value, or if it's really wet, you can raise that up. What that does is that adjusts the smart watering program. It won't necessarily affect your traditional programs, but for smart watering, that if you increase the moisture, it'll delay your next watering and it will reduce the amount of time it waters for. If you set it down lower, your smart watering will water sooner and it'll put down more water. So we can save that. We can then return to the home screen. We can also go into the device settings. From the settings, we can see our account, our devices, device groups, and watering history and notification settings. So we're going to go into devices first. Here we see that we have the hub and the host app timer. We can come into the timer details. From here we can, I mentioned sharing, you can add users to your device if you'd like. You can see that right now smart watering is on for the hose faucet timer. We're not actually using it because it's not turned on the zone, but it's turned on for the device so that you can get automatic rain delays. Without this smart watering setting turned on, the automatic rain delays can't happen. You can set smart watering restrictions. You can set days of the week and times of the day to avoid watering. You can set an automatic on-off date for the timer. It shows that we have one station. When it was last connected, there's our MAC address. Again, it's located on the bottom and it's located on the back of the hub. Shows the firmware version for the hub that we're currently running and the hardware version. You can, if you need to, you can reset the device connection. You can tap update firmware and that will do the firmware check. And deauthorized device deletes it completely from your account. We can go back to our device. There's not much you can do on the hub, but you can see its details here. You can see its firmware. You can update Wi-Fi settings. So if you change your SSID or the password on your Wi-Fi, you come in here to update those settings. And you can also delete and reset your device. From device groups, we can see our demo hub group. And if we had more than one host app, they would all show here in this list. And you can see your watering history, if there is any. And you can control your notifications. You can disable some or all from this screen. Let's go back to our home screen. And one last thing is your calendar. Calendar will show you when your next program is set to run. If a rain delay were either set by you or by the smart watering, it will still show a watering event for that time period. But it will not water. It'll just show that there's something scheduled for that time. And then once you have some history on the calendar, you can go back and see what the weather was. You can see what watering happened on that day. So now we can also turn on smart watering. So we'll come into zones, the hose, and we'll just toggle that on. And it's going to warn us because we have this zone as part of a traditional program already. And that's okay. We'll just say enable anyway. If it weren't part of another watering program, you wouldn't see that notification. So now that smart watering is on, we can tap on smart details. This is where we input the landscape variables. The landscape variables are used as part of the smart watering calculations. This is how we know, or the server knows, based on weather, your plant type, soil type, slope, your location. There's evaporation tables that are based on location, sunshade exposure, the sprinkler head type. All of these variables go into smart calculations so that we can give your timer the most accurate watering schedule as possible. So the more detail you provide here, the more accurate your smart watering will be also. There's also smart watering adjustments. So in this screen, you're able to adjust, kind of fine tune the smart watering program for your timer. So you can adjust the runtime. So if you feel like it's not watering quite enough, you can increase that just a little bit. If you feel like it's watering too much, you can decrease it. And this adjusts some of the fine tuning and some of the advanced settings. They're still available to you to modify yourself, but this is just a graphical way of adjusting. It's a little bit more user-friendly. So you can adjust those in here. Now, the way it works is each time you come to the screen, you'll be adjusting from your last adjustment. It doesn't reset. So if you've lowered the amount of watering a little bit and you still think it's watering a little too much, you can just lower it a little bit more because it was from your previous. You don't have to do a full compensation, you just do an incremental compensation. The next one is the interval adjustment. So if you feel like it's watering too frequently, you can increase or decrease that interval from here also. Now, it's important to know that every time you make an adjustment here, it's going to force the server to recalculate your smart program. There can be some delay in that, so you might not see your watering schedule update immediately. Those things get put into a queue. They get processed a few times a day. Once it gets reprocessed, those changes will be reflected. But every time you do that, it's going to reset all of these landscape variables, going to reset your smart watering. So we recommend you do this as little as possible, kind of give the system some time to settle in and normalize, and you'll find that give it a little time, it will kind of adjust itself. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. For more videos, check out our YouTube channel for more how-to videos and information on upcoming products.